first class to be recorded and be on to trig for the year 2012. All right. Feel free to ask questions as we go along. All right. Given 2 points, we can find the slope, correct? Yes. Okay. So let's take 2 points, any 2 points, 2, -5, -7, and -8. All right? All we want to do is find the slope. That's all they're requiring you to do. I may give you a little bit extra than what you're required to do for your homework, but that's okay. It'll just mean that less that we have to do tomorrow. All right, so first thing we want to do is find the slope, and we're going to use our formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that will give us our slope, or the pitch of that line. Because we only have 2 points, then we're going to have to assume that this is linear. So let's find the pitch of that line. Meghand, does it matter which one's x1, y1? No. So let's go -5, the difference in the y's, -5 minus a -8. All right, notice the double sign there. Okay, the subtraction sign is built into the formula, and we are subtracting a -8 from a -5. And then it would be the 2 minus -7. So -5 minus -8 is a +3, and 2 minus a -7 is 9. And so my slope is 1/3, not a very steep slope. Okay. The equation of the line is going to be y equals 1/3 x, and then it will cross the y-axis somewhere. And that's as far as this section will take us. But how would we find where it crosses the y-axis without graphing? Who remembers? Plug in the points for x and y. Remember that? It's one way. There's another way. It's one way. And which point do you want to plug in? 2 and the -5. It seems like a little easier points to plug in. So let's put that in and see what we got. We're going to put a -5 for y. And we're going to put in the 2 in place of the x. And then we'll do a little bit of arithmetic there. Figure out where our y-intercept is. What's 1/3 times 2? 2/3. And this problem's a little bit easier to work with, isn't it? I don't like mixed numbers myself, so I like to put everything into, and I don't like this word, but we're going to put everything into improper fractions, because we use improper fractions a lot. So what is -5 minus 2/3? It's -5 and 2/3, right? Isn't this -15/3? Isn't that what -5 is? -15 divided by 3? So if I subtract 2/3 from -15/3, I get -17/3. That's my y-intercept. Yes?
How is it -15/3?
Well, what I did was I found common denominator. And I put that over 1. And I wanted the common denominator because I have a 1/3 over on the right side. So I want my denominator to be 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay. It's a pet peeve I have that you probably hear a lot of, that our students are not not just our students, but students across the state, are not very proficient in fractions. Okay. My own personal opinion is you guys got your calculators way too early in your mathematical careers. If it were up to me, I wouldn't let you use calculators to get to high school. Yes.
It's like if you multiply both sides by 3, then why are you dividing into 2 by 3 still?
I didn't multiply both sides by 3. All I did was, let's take it in steps. I did this. Did you see where we got to this point? You understand where we got to that point? All I did was, I'm going to subtract 2/3 from each side. And if you wanted to think of it this way, this would be -5 2/3, which if you change that, would be -17/3. But I made -15/3 minus 2/3, that gives me a -17/3. If I did it this way, this would be -5 2/3. You know how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction? 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17/3. It's all the same. All right, so now we have this equation that looks like y is equal to, we're going to take this information that b is equal to -17/3 and we're going to put it right there. So y is equal to 1/3 x minus 17/3. All right, this is a test question. This is a test question. I'm going to give you 2 points on the test. 2 points. Given 2 points, give me an equation of the line in standard form. So we found the equation of the line, which is in slope-intercept form. Put it in standard form. Let's put the x's and the y's on one side. -1/3 x plus the y equals -17/3. And you remember what to do? Remember standard form, get rid of the fractions. What are we going to multiply by? By what? Actually, -3. We want our leading term to be positive. -3 times -1/3 is 1. 3 times 1/3 is 3/3, which is 1. 1x. You guys would probably use your calculator. And in your calculator, you would hit -3 times 1/3. And you would see that that is equal to 1. 1x. And then -3 times y is -3y. And -3 times a -17/3, so 3's will cancel and I'll get a +17. So we have an equation here in slope-intercept form, standard form. Okay.
Can you tell me one more time why we multiply by -3?
Because I want to clear the fractions. I want to get rid of these 3's in here in these fractions. Because in standard form, remember, they can't have fractions. I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to multiply by a common denominator. One of the ways we can graph. Are you guys familiar with graphing? Yeah, you're familiar with graphing in your calculator. Who does not know how to graph a straight line in their calculator? Okay, everybody does? All right. If you do, then you have to put an equation. What if I give you this, and I told you to graph it for me? 2x minus 5y equals, I don't know, negative 10. And I had you graph that for me. Can you graph that? What would you do to graph it? You have a calculator, graph a calculator if you want. What would you do? Tell me. Yeah.
Well, I would have to get y to just plain y, not negative 5.
So you would put this equation, let's talk math. You would put this equation in slope-intercept form. And then what would you do?
Cancel out the 5 divided by
Okay, so once it's in standard or slope-intercept form, y equals, then you'd see where it crosses the y-axis and you look at your slope? Yeah, okay. Could you put it into your calculator, go to your table and find a couple of points? Would you guys know how to do that? You wouldn't? I'll show you. Okay. How many would know how to do that? Just raise your hand. Okay, there are some who don't. All right, that's okay. When we do our work, you're gonna have a little bit of time to do your work. Try it. Here's another way. I notice that 10 is divided by 2 and 10 is divided by 2 and 10 is divided by 5. Linda asked me this just a minute ago. She wanted to know. I'm not going to pass on any graph paper just yet. We don't have any graphs to do. So just sketch on your own. Okay? One, we can use x and y intercepts to graph. How do I find the y-intercept? Where it crosses the y-axis, my x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 5y equals negative 10. What does y equal? Yeah. Positive 2. All right. So we have a point when x is 0, y is 2. There's no y-intercept. Let's find the x-intercept. When y is 0, 5 times 0 is 0. We'll cover that up. 2x equals negative 10. What is x? Negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I found my x and y intercepts. It's a real efficient way to graph if 2 goes into 10 and 5 goes into 10. Okay.
Will it only work if the numbers are divisible by each other?
Yes. It'll work for other ways, but you'll get fractions. But that's an efficient way if both those numbers go into the number on the right. Okay? Good questions. Thank you for asking those. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. How many of you guys read your math book? One, sometimes. Okay, it's a good idea to read your book. Okay, I try to highlight what's in there, but the more you read it, the easier it is to understand. All right, for your homework, what are you doing? Pages 17 through 18. Problems 12 through 63. Thirds. Every third problem. 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, Also, we're gonna do problem 64 and 65. And that will be your homework.